when I first started working for IGT, I was only meant to be 9 months maternity cover, and then I was supposed to kind of move on to somewhere else. So for me, I came straight out of university pretty much. I'd done a little bit of work experience in other companies, and this was kind of like a bigger step into just my art career in general. And so I did my 9 months here, like I said, thinking that I would move on afterwards, and I just loved it so much. I loved the people, I loved the work that we did, and I'm very, very grateful for my very first manager for fighting really hard to keep me at IGT, because here I am 9 years later still working here. So I think for me what made IGT different was there was like a real level of challenge to the work that we were doing. In other companies that I'd worked in, it was very much kind of like rinse and repeat, that kind of deal. But with IGT, there was definitely a level of challenge to the work where it was testing you, and you were always kind of trying to better yourself to meet it. And I found that really enjoyable, because I guess I just enjoy a challenge really, but I find that very rewarding. I think since I first started, some of the skills that I've seen personally develop is, I guess, my confidence, I guess my ability to work in a team, and also I think maybe it's an artist thing, maybe it's not, maybe it's every employee in IGT, but I think you sometimes feel like you struggle to understand what your strengths are, and you kind of sometimes can feel a bit lost. And I think through working at IGT, I've kind of, through my managers helping me and just through my teammates helping me and just coming to me and asking for certain things, it's kind of made me realise what my strengths are as a person. It's made me realise what I bring to the team. And I always joke with some of the new starters when I'm looking after them, and I say when I first started I was so shy, I wouldn't really speak, I was very quiet, I didn't have the confidence to kind of go over and introduce myself and that kind of thing. And they all laugh at me now because they say, oh, but you're so bubbly, you're so happy, you're so friendly, I can't believe that at all. And I'm like, yep, I used to be the quiet one in the corner who was too frightened. And I just think through working with IGT, and again, the great people that I've got to know through IGT, that's really brought a lot of my character out, and not just at IGT, but it's now carried through into pretty much life, really. So the team that I work in is brilliant. Like the whole Manchester office, I love those people to pieces. They are such a good bunch, and we have such a good, we just have such a good group of characters. That's the only way I can describe it. Everybody's got their own personality and their own quirks, but everybody still comes together. And there's a real sense of helping each other out in our office. It's never a case of, you're in a different squad than I'm in, so I'm not going to help you with that. I think we all have this need to help when we see somebody else struggling. And so I think that really creates an environment where you feel very comfortable communicating, and I think it just makes the end product better because everybody's trying to help out and get things rolling. It's really good being able to interact with the different teams around the world. I think you get a little bit of an insight into different cultures and different ways of working. So, while we might work one way in Manchester and we have our way of doing it, when we collaborate with the team in the US or maybe one of the teams in the China office, you kind of get an insight into the way that they do things, and you can kind of, say, oh, that's a good thing, maybe we'll bring that into our company, or, that kind of thing. So it's really good. There's a lot of variety, and it's good to learn about how the different offices work. At the moment with my role in IGT is that we're currently restructuring a lot of stuff in Manchester. We're really looking at the way that we work, and we're also looking at a new framework and new ways of working with that. And so that to me is kind of exciting, to be at the start of that and to almost be able to help mold some of that and put my opinions in there, my thoughts, and talk to other people about what their thoughts are. But I find that quite exciting, just to be in that company as it's trying to define this new era for itself, basically. And I think it's probably actually a good time for, you know, new people to come and join, because this is an exciting time to do it. I think for artists who are, you know, coming out of university and haven't maybe looked at this avenue, I would definitely encourage them to do so. I think it allows you to be creative within a structure. And for me, I came from a graphic design background, and so I love a brief. And we get that with every project. You get a brief, this is what we need to hit, this is the demographic that we need to reach out to, that kind of thing. But it's also good because you work on the project and then it gets released into the wild, and you will see your work kind of go into areas of the world where you never thought, you know, you would ever have work published. So it's really good for that. I remember I went on holiday to New Jersey. I actually went with two people from work. We were going to go watch an NFL match together. So we flew over to America and we were wandering around a small town in New Jersey. Never been there before, never thought I would go over there. And we went into a small corner shop and they had these printed tickets of lottery games that I'd been working on, and it was just a bit of a shock. I was like, oh, that's nice to see this out in the world. It's a really nice feeling when you see your work out in the wild. I remember as well when I moved into the instant win and the casino games, all of a sudden I'd be watching TV and the commercial breaks would come on, and one of the adverts for one of the customers that we work with would come on, and one of our games would pop up, and you'd be kind of have this really like feeling of surprise, and then you'd be kind of, you know, feeling yourself, and you'd be like, I did that game, I worked on that game, did you know I did that one, I worked on that one. So it's a really nice feeling. Yeah, I think to a new prospective employee, I would say just give it a go, just try it. You're only going to meet, you know, there's so many good people at this company, so to be able to learn from them but get to know them is only going to be a positive. And I think that, you know, if you're kind of nervous of trying something new and maybe it's not an industry that you directly come from, I would just give it a go. It's going to be a learning curve, but I think you're going to have a lot of fun doing it. And one of the things that I always say to my new employees who start is that you are never alone in this. You will find that there is a huge group of people around you who are here ready and willing to support you. So yeah, just give it a go. Just why not?